Good morning, friends. Time for another off-stream VOD review. Today we're going to be looking at a gold Reinhardt on Oasis. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. So, we'll be looking at wood tier. This is low gold, so 2130, 2120 on both sides. And the first thing we gotta notice, of course, is that Reinhardt on Oasis is not usually the best pick here. Um, so normally you'd want to be Winston, because there is so much high ground, right? On Garden and University, uh, and City Center as well. University probably has the least high ground where you can get away with Reinhardt. But on University and Garden, Winston is certainly much more preferable. So you have selected Winston here, but the video of your title says Reinhardt and 50 seconds of Winston. So good initial pick, but I can kind of see where this is going with where it looks like you have four. No, you are getting a Zarya now. Oh, you switched to Reinhardt. So one of the reasons, or one of the main reasons that will dictate whether or not you want to play Winston or Reinhardt is the amount of high ground that is on the
Okay,
map.
everyone.
And here on City
Yeah.
Center, there is that really high T-shaped high ground up by the jump pad. And Winston can
Mute.
transfer between the two of those high grounds, like the high ground and the low ground on the point, rather seamlessly. But Reinhardt is more
Far.
or less
High ground
stuck.
left.
So if you are going to be using Reinhardt here, it's always best to go where the high ground is actually not effective, or you're as far away from it as possible. So here, it's kind of a right. The two tanks that they have on the other side, they have a Roadhog here and a Diva here. And looking at your team, you had a Zarya, but you also had a McCree and a Zenyatta, if I'm not mistaken. So let's look at the composition as you're kind of walking out the door. You're running a Hanzo as well? Oh, so Solo Mercy, 3 DPS, assuming that didn't change. Um, so, yeah, you've got a Hanzo and a Kree and a Mercy. So, you first off, you don't have really that much healing. And the problem with going really hyper aggro on their tank line is that their tank line is a Diva and a Roadhog. And the big thing about Diva Roadhog, especially with this guy right here, Zenyatta, is that this is a tank killing lineup right here. Whereas you have this boy and this boy. Tracer's already fed his brains out and died. But the counter to what I like to call the solo queue composition of tanks is a shield. So, in the vast majority of circumstances, I myself personally enjoy playing an aggressive Reinhardt. But against a composition like this, the ideal location to go, let's say this is the high ground by the jump pad, and then here's the gazebo, and then there's this kind of space over here. So you came in main here and walked over to the end of our team where they had their Roadhog, their Diva, and their Zen was somewhere. I don't remember where, but he discorded you, and then you fought the two of their tanks, both of them being tank killers, Diva and Roadhog, both of them very good at killing other tanks. And it's not like an Orisa Roadhog composition, which is more for static. This is kind of like just an anti-dive. It's still a mobile, but they're very very good at killing other tanks between the two of them. So instead of having gone right to them, because if we can think about this, first of all, I'll just give you the answer. This position would have been a nicer area to move in. So if your team had rotated all the way around, and you are the main tank, so you could just have said on comms, follow me, or let's stick to the right, or something like that. And you could have gone to here because it zones out the high ground on the other side of this central little hut gazebo thing. So attacking the Diva and the Roadhog here is a pretty poor choice, because if you can think of it from the perspective of the high ground, if there's somebody here and you have your McCree and your soldier over here, what you want to be doing is staying as far back from the actual high ground as much as possible. Because if you're here with your shield, you can think of as sight lines that you'll actually protect the people behind you. But the closer your shield is to the high ground, the fewer people that you're actually going to protect. So Your Reinhardt shield's there. It protects the people behind you. But if you were closer, even if you were the same distance away, even if your teammates were the same distance behind you, they are now vulnerable to the fire. So when you're fighting as Reinhardt against somebody on the high ground, you want to be as far away from said high ground as possible. Just a general rule. So here, I like the aggression, but going against a composition that more or less counters you at close ranges, but you counter them if you just hold your shield at range and force them to try and deal with your shield. So I normally hate on Mr. Rectangle Man, but unfortunately there are certain circumstances where Mr. Rectangle Man does win out, because if you give your Zarya the ability to get charge off of your shield and hold a position and force them onto the point, your Zarya can absolutely just melt the two of these. Can just melt the two of these guys together based off of you. But if Zarya's alone, both of these people are just going to destroy them. So you have the tank lineup, not including you, to counter their D.Va Roadhog. But yeah, if you go in alone, and it didn't look like you got a bubble from Zarya in the first place, so just another reason that you're going to want to play either more passive or communicate more with Zarya about her intention.
Yeah, we're gonna need a second healer.
Well,
Like
one of the
Zen or
one of the best ways you can improve as tank is not worrying about the amount of healing that you receive, but trying to change your playstyle based on the amount of healing you're receiving. I say it quite often, but healing is like heroin, and the more you have, the more you both want and the more you need. But if you let your playstyle become dictated by the amount of healing you're getting, you're going to become lazy. So, yeah.
Lucio. Hey, don't split off. Let's fight as a team.
I like the communication. Leading the team like Reinhardt does.
Tracy, you going on long flanks, you're just gonna commit suicide.
So no real reason to hold your shield here, right? You see right here that your Tracer is still respawning. So just stand around a corner and wait. Your shield's already down to 1300. Now it's at 1000. You just said to group up as fight as a team, and now you're going in with 5 at best. But we don't actually know who's with you because you haven't turned around to look. You're gonna get hooked and killed, probably, or just killed, right? So they had the Zen, and you went up against the 2 tanks that really counter you. Your Zarya wasn't with you and didn't bubble you, and you went in a man down.
Creed can't do it alone.
I mean, I love to. It's just, very grounded hero.
So, like, you have the right ideas, especially with wanting to group up, but with the saying grouping up and then going in a man down is your words and your actions are showing different things. Good fire strike to get the piercing. You might be able to kill that. You could always hammer her out. Yeah.
I can't do a first power load if I have to deal with the rest of the enemy.
That's fine. I'd probably just stay on the point and cap. One of the things you can do to kind of save people from a hook is if you hammer them. Your hammer does have a little bit of a knockback, and hammering them at the right time can usually be enough to make their Roadhog miss their shot on a hooked target.
Power low.
Device back.
It's kind of funny, you were holding your shield there when you actually didn't need it. You were aggressive when you shouldn't have been aggressive, and here you held your shield when you should have just been hammering away at this D.Va. Or charging, honestly. Charging just to be really aggressive on that front line and just make the fight end earlier would be a good idea. Like a pin on this D.Va would break her mech pretty much instantly. But she is going to get out, and now she's going to feed her supports some ultimate charge. Oh, never mind.
That's why we don't chase, they've all respawned.
Well, I personally would have chased, honestly. Demeching that D.Va would have been huge for the stagger. So yeah, again, you don't want to be holding this far forward. if you're kind of caught in between two mindsets. So there's Oasis, where there's kind of these curved rooms, and then there's this weird little pathway over here. And if you are going to be holding forward like this, in this location here, right, you're holding this kind of choke with your shield. If you are going to be holding forward like this, you want to be holding in areas where there's sight lines. So there's this passage over here, right? And then there's these doors, and there's a mini over here, and there's a mini over here. So if you are going to be holding forward, holding this location is actually much better because you can see basically into their spawn with your hands when you're Kree. But this isn't far enough forward. This is kind of like holding on point, waiting for them to arrive, and they can fight you without having gone through very many sight lines at all. So that makes this a bad position. So if the gazebo's back here, you'd probably want to be holding on the left, the right side of the gazebo, you know, maybe the right side over by the stairs, the left side by these stairs. But yeah, because then these positions give you better sight lines of the area where they are most likely to come through. You know, or you could be holding on the jump pad and drop when necessary so that the high ground isn't claimed by the enemy team. There's a lot of options, and all of them are honestly better than the position you're holding in right now. But if you are going to be holding aggressive, hold in a position that gives you the longest sight lines of the enemy's approach.
Sarah Hall?
Where is she? Where is she?
Yeah, it's still unreachable.
Diva to the right.
They're going to the right.
Nice hook block.
Nice.
Normally, like you don't have to be holding your shield while the bomb is exploding. So one of the things that I definitely like to do is kind of like run over to where I'm gonna be. And the other thing is that you only really want to shield the bomb at the last moment, because if they have something like a hook or a sleep dart or a flashbang or anything like that, they can stop your shield from actually shielding that bomb successfully. So moving your shield really slowly and walking into position kind of opens yourself up. So keep your head on a swivel while you're going to go block a bomb. Drop your shield so you move faster towards where the bomb is going to be, and then only shield at the last second so that you don't get stunned right before the bomb kills everyone.
Block.
Are they going to cap it right behind you? Oh,
Farah.
you did notice. Okay.
Where is she? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so you see how these people have this cover here? The enemy has the cover to the right and the left, which they can use to kind of like peek shoot at you, and you can't really do much about it. That's why this position sucks.
Fang is still alive, really low.
Nice, nice.
Nice.
Oh, come back, Tracer.
McCree right. I'm not going to chase because otherwise the Diva is going to press on me.
Diva
She's
goes
used her
low.
boosters. Yeah, no grenade. Pretty good idea to no
Ooh,
ability
she has
of
no
any
skip.
sort.
Thanks, bro.
Good shielding. Should have
Thank you,
gone
Moira,
instead
thank
of
you,
the McCree. You should have gone for the Anna itself, or Anna herself
Maybe
rather,
leave
because
it
she used
somewhere.
all of her cooldowns.
She probably has ult, she has ult.
I like
Flank
that
it.
you're
Can I assault?
constantly looking for opportunities to be aggressive. You're just not finding the ones you want.
Baby Diva on point.
Maybe Diva still.
On a low, on a low. Nice take on the McCree, nice take on the McCree. They're going right. Our left, our left.
Nice.
Good, they didn't touch,
half.
they didn't touch.
Nice work.
Good
So
team.
a few mistakes, but not that bad. Let's go to the next one right away.
Got directly left. Probably white, so.
We don't want to go near that edge with Farah. Because she
That was
just
the
has
reason why
dominance.
go left, and ignore white.
Yeah.
You don't really want to go left either against a Pharah where you can be
Trace,
They've gone
spammed
jump
out.
right. They've gone
I
jump
mean,
right.
like,
Oh, yeah.
anytime you're going against a Pharah, you don't want to be sitting in little tiny doors so that she can just spam freely. So going main would have been a much better decision here if you knew they had a Pharah.
Winston.
And a Junkrat. Holy smokes, you don't want to be in this tiny ass room. Against here, they no longer have the tank killer of Roadhog, they have a Diva, and both of them were grouped up like that. So even if you're going to take a shit ton of damage, but you can hammer swing on 2 tanks at once, usually a good decision. And now you have 2 healers too, right? You have Moira and Mercy, so you can swing with basically reckless abandon.
Get a Steve, get a Steve.
Until the Junkrat starts spamming. Good healing.
I can
Good fire
shoot in the
strike,
tunnel
and this
here,
is
that's
why
perfect.
you really don't want to be here, right? Junkrat and a Kree, whew, that's a lot of damage, especially since I still assume they have a Zenyatta. Yeah, rip you. So much damage.
Pull back, pull back, pull back.
Reses the McCree. It's not who they needed to res, but
Whoa.
Nice
Kree
take
got
on the
the
tire.
tire.
Nice take on the tire.
you're gonna give them the cap for free though. Getting some ult charge. Should have the moment in which you should have fire striked is when there's as many of them as lined up as possible, which was right there. You should have fire striked basically to the right of the sign that's on your left and right through the kind of the doorway in which they're going to retreat back onto the point. So more so than just fire striking where there's lots of people. Fire striking where there's lots of people and where you expect people to walk to or retreat to is always just a good firing line. So basically launching the fire strike so that it goes right here between these 2 doors and then inside these doors here on the mini room. If you launch this fire strike in this direction, like this direction, that would be a good fire strike. But you wait just a little bit and you launch it kind of so into the floor or something. So always best to launch it in very heavily walked or traveled areas instead, unless you're trying specifically to get a final blow.
Oh, great. Nice.
I've got shadow, I've got shadow, I've got shadow. Big shadow. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
No, you got hammered.
Fucking monster.
Or trapped, rather. You got trapped.
Get us Lucio, he's low, he's running.
Diva runs
You got
low.
the mini.
She's out of mech.
That's funny.
Junk round.
Junk.
Oh, you almost charged off. That would have been so funny.
But I hate this. Ult is one.
Oh, that's
he went.
funny.
Yeah.
How much you could have done there?
Stood on his passive.
Hey, he's almost got another tire, so watch out for that.
McCree is on, has high
high
ground.
pay attention.
So where you are now is the best position you could probably be on.
McCree's gonna ult from behind. He has
Yeah,
high. He has
purple.
ult.
Blocking, 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 he's there behind me. Ah, got
Oh.
booped, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too.
It's the Winston.
That was really good on the Winston. Not sure if it was on purpose or not.
Okay,
It
let's just
probably
reset
was.
and go on to
That
points
was
of
really
force.
good on the Winston.
And Trace. Okay. Right. Let's go in left corridor again. Actually, no. Let's go main. They've got a Junkrat covering the left corridor.
We will fuck up there.
Do you reload?
So yeah, you got hit really low there, right? Like you were down to 130 or so. And as soon as you drop beneath armor, so as soon as you get 300 HP or below, you should probably be favoring your shield to kind of heal back up. Unless it's some sort of like 1v1 where you're not getting pocketed. But yeah, getting down to 130 is scary. So yeah, if you get below 300, try and like shield and only like very briefly swing until you're back into armor where healing is more effective.
Oh. Angry Ape.
Yeah, you drop shield while you still weren't quite healed up yet. You got purpled and then there was nothing the healers could do about it behind you. Get res
Diva runs
though.
low.
I am slip.
You shouldn't need hammer.
Right, they're back left,
fight
back
is-
left. There's a Winston back left as well.
Ooh, nice charge. Oh, I love charges like that. Those charges are so good. You can hammer this.
Good stuff.
Got your mercy, got your mercy.
Nice block. Huge block, honestly. You're purpled again.
McCree.
Nice.
Huge.
Whoa, whoa.
You did lose one of your
On the
healers,
point.
so you shouldn't be going this
Point.
aggressive. Especially against a jungle. Are you gonna hit that? Oh,
Nice.
sick. Sick fire strike. And charge, dude. You're so good at
Healer's
Reinhardt.
dead, I'm coming in.
Nice. Just Lucy's
Oh.
backing up. Lucy's backing off.
Oh, that fire strike hit a trap. I thought it, yeah, so little miss. Man, you hit one fire strike just downtown, and then you just miss a Lucio that's 5 feet away from you. That's pretty funny. But no, that was some sick Reinhardt play there.
Nice ult.
I go too deep, I'm running out of juice.
Okay.
I'm on my way.
Yeah, like, see how low you were there? Watch your health. Watch your health bar there. So you're at 311 right now, and you're already pushed forward through the kind of like choke to the point.
Deep, I'm running out of juice.
Okay.
And then you're at 250 and you start swinging, even though your Moira just told you they're out of juice.
I'm on my way.
So now you're at 130 and you're still swinging, and then you get healed and you die. So a little bit of health
That was my bad.
awareness.
I shouldn't have gone so aggressive.
Oh, whoa, whoa, help. On the high ground?
Yeah, you're.
I got
Yep.
him.
So anytime you've got a hammer, you can kind of like bait them onto point, right? They don't have anything to block your shatter except for Winston bubble. So if you hold in a place which has these really nice sightlines for shatter, they don't have any option really except for playing into you.
I'm so lucky I got that rest.
Whereas here they have these little signs that can block your hammer down.
Yeah, you are. Right, pull back, let them push into point. I've got a shatter, I can just...
I have no
ban them.
juice left. Only...
Yeah, so destroy.
My bad, I didn't read that.
No, you no. You knew. You should know when you're running against dive comp. The one and only thing that is gonna block your shatter is a Winston's bubble, and when a Winston jumps in, especially at gold, he's gonna bubble immediately. So you should have waited for them to commit harder before landing your shatter. And here again, 150 shield. Keep shielding. Keep shielding. You're not back in armor yet.
Deep is low. Do that, Mac. Blocking.
You'll want a fire striker right as soon. Yeah.
Nice block.
Slow on the fire strike. Slow on the fire
Too
strike.
close.
That mini diva 100% should have died. You either should have gotten a second swing in before her bomb detonated, which is another reason why you don't want to shield until the last moment. Try and kill the mini diva before she remix. So you either should have double swung on the mini diva to kill her before the bomb went off, then shielded the bomb, or you did get the one swing in. What you could do after that is just position yourself so that as soon as the bomb detonates, you fire strike mini diva and kill her. So there's a tiny window where your fire strike will actually get her. So yeah, that mini diva should have died. Huge pin. Oh!
Fucking asshole is hunting me.
I should have pinned.
I think we have to regroup, huh?
That's too bad. You're never getting
Regroup and push. I
huge.
can use
Oh
my
my god. Where did you fire? Oh, never mind. It got defense matrix. That was honestly a
Okay,
huge shot.
Go down.
You're so good at Reinhardt. Just keep playing him, climb. Minor mistakes here and there. But
Group up, push back, pull back.
you're better
pull
than
back,
gold by
back,
far.
back.
You really, you got a good
Remember
head
again,
on you.
this is going to be our last fight on this map.
Good ahead on you.
So if we win it, we win.
Yep.
I mean, like, you've got such a good game sense for when you need to actually protect your teammate. You just haven't quite gained that game
Let's go.
sense on when it's good to attack.
Winston down, let's go. We're up,
You-
we're up.
So you were shielding there at full health, right?
Shielding,
Now you're
shielding.
Oh, he was
I
above
was
you.
too far up in the air, sorry.
Yeah.
I have no juice.
Fire strike
okay.
accuracy could be a little bit better.
Dragon is
I had to
coming.
reload, so
Yeah, I don't think there's much hope for this one. That's
Fine point,
unfortunate.
fine point.
The two-man rip tire
Ape is low.
Monkey
against
low,
you
monkey
in
low,
the
monkey
last
low.
fight,
No, no, no.
and then the two-man high noon in this one kind of fucked you.
Trap jumped and got me.
That is too bad.
It's okay. We can get the next one.
Could have won that one.
We got this.
Yeah. I'm going to Winston for the next one. If we get a soldier for dominance of the high ground rather than McCree, that'd be great.
I like
I
the
can go Doja,
suggestions.
no problem.
I like the
Sure,
suggestions.
sure, sure. And if we could get like a Lucio or a Zen instead of the Moira, just for the sustain, because at the moment they're focusing us down very hard, and we need to be able to focus targets. So if you call your discords and we focus those targets, then it should go well. I really wish the Tracer was in chat because she's the only other dive DPS. Yeah, Hanzo, just focus on discords
is
and you should be
great,
able to get
dude.
them with full
This is
fully
great.
body shots.
We need to take out D.Va as soon as possible.
Yeah. Right, let's go right. Follow the Tracer. Follow the Tracer. Follow the Tracer. She's not in chat, so we gotta just deal with that.
Well,
She left because you were telling her how to play.
I don't really care, to be honest.
Okay.
Like,
No, it's fine. You were right.
so a few things here. Tracer's a flanker, right? You don't need to follow her. And it's very common for people, especially teams, to send, 5 people one direction and one, usually a Tracer, in the other direction. So they kind of like meet up and pincer the enemy team that they're attacking. This strategy is common on Lijiang Garden, for example. So I don't really ever encourage going underneath the way that you did here on this right side. It's really low. And the other thing, like, so Tracer doesn't dictate your team's movement. If you had kind of gone main and they had turned to force you, that would have put their back to Tracer, but now you've kind of fucked up Tracer's flank. And the other thing here is that you didn't short jump, so I think you were trying to jump on the D.Va, but you did a normal jump instead of a short jump, and you landed basically in Narnia. So yeah, I assume that you just lack jump control, which honestly takes about 15-20 minutes in a practice range to correct if you know kind of what you're supposed to be working on. But yeah, your jump control and then not going in the same direction as your flanker, especially if it's a Tracer. Like this position that's underneath is really bad for dive tanks. You don't want to start here.
D.Va Discord.
Yeah, you're just in Narnia, you get melted
much
because you
damage.
fucked up your jump.
yeah,
Well,
I'm gonna have to play a fully dedicated shield tank into this.
D.Va is out connect. Yeah, I got the Cree. Maybe.
your Hanzo's so
No,
good.
no.
Winston do.
I think he's just getting hard pocketed, but like whenever you die, that Hanzo's just like, pretty much getting hard pocketed. It's awesome, and he's getting
Right, let's
so
go
many
there.
kills.
Winston down, Winston down.
One thing that I need to be worried about. Yikes, 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 yikes. Look at how low you are. Pay attention to your
My bad, my
fucking
bad.
health. Jesus Christ.
Oh, I almost had that.
So,
It's
Yeah,
fine.
it's wait.
yikes, yikes,
Grind
man.
it.
You need some more awareness of your health pool. You, oof, 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 oof. Yeah, like even without looking at your health bar, you should have known. You should, like, maybe you just need to play more, but you need to develop this sense for just how much damage you've taken, because right now it does not exist with you. So like maybe until you develop that sense of how much HP you have remaining, you just constantly look, right? So make some sort of mnemonic for yourself, kind of like kill feed health shield, and then so if you ever get lost or confused in a fight to reorient yourself, you're looking at your enemy and then you go, okay, kill feed. You look to the top right, you see what's, or you could do kill feed tab. Just come up with a very quick check of items and make it a habit of going kill feed, health, shield, and then just reorienting yourself with what's going on around you. So, kill feed, I see we lost our mercy, so I can't be as aggressive. Health, I've got 250 HP, so I need to shield. Barrier, my barrier's still good, so I can shield for, quite a while I retreat. But, yeah, you're making the decisions that you make are good, but sometimes the decisions that you make are bad based solely on the amount of health that you have remaining. So especially on Reinhardt, who rides this kind of like razor thin edge between life and death and trying to tank as much of the aggression of the enemy team as possible to make space, you have to be much more aware of the health pool that you have and the resources that your team is investing in you to keep those numbers up.
Right, let's just, pull back off the right flank because they're just dominating in those corridors. The Junkrat.
Monkey pushing.
Kind of a weird approach to the point here.
D.Va Discord out.
I can't shield. Can't shield.
Oh, I got booped.
It's just too much
So
damage.
My heals are too weak, Sanjeta.
you could have just retreated there with charge, just like looked away from the fight and charged out to kind of give the 400 health you had missing as a gift of ult charge to your healers for the next attack. But here you've pretty much lost the ult economy badly. So you're going to need to land a shatter to kind of reverse that. But you've only really got one full team fight left before the end of cap here. So minor mistakes. 2 lost team fights, character swaps, losing ult economy, and they'll probably just steamroll you here unless somebody comes up with a big play.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Your Hanzo goes down, that sucks. You pressed a D instead of A.
What's that trap there? What's that trap there? All right. Get this Winston. Get this Winston. Get this fucking Winston.
You could have charged there.
Get a shadow. Get a shadow. Got the
Only got
Moira.
one. Also should have charged there. So, charging in corridors is awesome because it's almost impossible to miss, and then you can always just steer yourself in a wall to stop. And secondly, you always want to finish your hammer down with a pin. So, you can't get ult charge for your next hammer until the stun effects of the last hammer wear off. So what you do is you pin as they're about to or are starting to stand up, so that once you actually impact a wall with that 300 damage starts to go to your next hammer. So yeah, you should always be saving your pin on your hammer down to pin something, even if it's not a tank, because a tank will give you the full recharge. But you always want to be saving your charge in your hammer to the very end there. But you had charge for the hallway. And charging hallways is good because it's hard to miss, and there's no kind of punishment for missing because you can just steer yourself into a wall to stop. And then you finish your hammer downs with a pin in order to start charging your next hammer and finish things off with a kill. So charging the Moira or the Junkrat would have been fine here. It looks like you're going to pin the D.Va here regardless, but this is way after your stun effect where it wore off. You're probably going to get another hammer here, which is going to be dope. No, don't step in the trap. When they have a Junkrat, you have to always be like Junkrat trap for Reinhardt sucks so much. So you have to know it's there. You could also kill it in one shot with your fire strike if you have to. So, 2 strikes with your hammer usually takes too long, but avoiding it or just telling your team it's there is always good. But yeah,
Dead. Just contest. I'm coming back with shadow.
you did get another shatter. You just died. Hey, you're gonna take this. Looks like your Tracer got 3. You also caused a lot of chaos and actually managed to demech their D.Va, so you did pretty well too.
Nice, 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 nice.
I think we're gonna be needing another tank.
Probably,
Three
but
right side.
So you could have just taken that damage to your health pool instead of your actual
Isn't it
shield,
with-
right? There was
Yeah.
no real threat of that killing you.
D.Va ult.
You could also just
Shielding.
hammer mini D.Va after
sorry, it landed on high ground.
No problem.
hammer that Moira.
Got the Moira vault. Moira
Yeah, I
down.
got her. Nice shadow.
You're pretty good at this game.
D.Va on Mercy.
Charge, huge. Oh my god, you're good at this game.
Monkey low, monkey low.
Free and chunk on the high
Oh
ground
my
head.
god, how do you
Chunk ult.
lose this? How do you lose this? You're just going
Okay, I'm
to
gonna come back
work
with
on
another
these nerds.
I'll use my
love
ult
it.
as soon as I get there.
Be hard to stall.
Yeah,
that.
this is one big long fight. We can't lose it. Mercy, I'm gonna charge forward so you can GA.
Alright,
I missed it. Ah, fuck it.
that's alright.
Alright, can we on smoke with Shadow?
Alright, I'll-
Has Winston
Trish-
used bubble? Has Winston
Trish
used
is
bubble?
actually doing something. I like that you're checking for bubble.
Shadow fucking nothing. That was terrible. Why do I
Yeah.
even bother?
Yeah, that was an unfortunate shatter.
Just contest. Just contest.
Tap, tap.
You're doing well though. Like rushing the shatter, there was no real
Nice one on
reason for
D.Va,
you
nice
to
one on
rush
D.Va.
that. Yeah. Honestly,
tap?
pretty good though. The big.
GG no
I'm
matter what.
sorry.
GG no matter what. It was a good game.
Tough one.
I
It
like
was.
your attitude.
Fuck.
You've got some
Happens,
skill on
like,
Reinhardt, my
just
friend.
have to roll with
You've
it.
got some serious skill on Reinhardt. Yeah, the big thing
game.
is that you need
Yeah, good
to, when you're aggressive and when you're passive or playing Mr. Rectangle Man, needs to be a lot better. And it's dictated entirely, well, not entirely, but based on their health pool. And if they are running the solo queue comp of like a Roadhog or a D.Va something, especially if they've got a Zenyatta on their side and you don't, they counter you, but your shield counters them. So against that sort of composition where they are running the Roadhog D.Va, you need to just hard shield until they, get chipped down because they have no way of kind of fucking with you and your team while your shield is up without taking a horrendous amount of poke from the guys behind your shield, assuming they're not stormtroopers. But yeah, once you were actually playing aggressive and shattering, you had a little bit of a lack of accuracy with your fire strikes. And occasionally whiffed a hammer, maybe just because you rushed it a little bit and didn't look. Like if you had just looked maybe like 10 degrees to your left, you would have been able to land shatter. And honestly, especially in overtime, shattering 1-2 people, perfectly fine. You're never going to get those ideal 5-man shatters, especially on Koth. But, it was pretty good. I liked the way you played Reinhardt. The other big thing is that your positioning on Reinhardt needs a little bit more work. Either fully commit to the frontal defense and defend where you have nice long sight lines of their approach. Especially on city center, you want to be doing that as you can see. Like you could see them coming out of spawn if you hold those kind of like 2 arches. Whereas if you're not holding there, you don't want to be holding in an area where they can use natural cover to assault your shield and your team. So you either be holding farther forward or farther back, not in this kind of like wishy-washy middle ground area. Anyway, really liked it. So keep up the work. You'll definitely climb if you keep playing. Just have some sort of checklist or force yourself to pay attention to your health because your health dictates your actions. Also, recognize that your shield is more useful to block very specific abilities like hook, like anti. A lot of your deaths came from anti-nade. So, shielding while the enemy takes damage and forcing that anti to use nade is good. Because if you get purpled, it's basically a 1 team fight for the enemy. But if you block purple, you then have basically a 10-second license to go absolutely ham. Because that's not a threat to you anymore. But yeah, so care more about blocking very specific cooldowns with your shield. Don't shield damage that can just be absorbed by your health pool. Try and kill mini D.Va. Don't shield D.Va bombs until the last second. And yeah, honestly, good work. Keep it up, dude. Thanks for watching.